Kia ora everyone and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warriors. I'm one of your co-hosts, John Lazaron, and I'm joined by my good mate and co-host, Richard, the bandwagon conductor laddie. Richard, we are number one on the ladder with only 2 games to go in the season. Can we remain there? That is one of the questions I'm going to be asking you tonight and see what everyone else thinks about that. But before we go into anything, bro, how's your week gone?
Oh mate, when the Warriors are on top of the table, life's always good. Turned out to work yesterday. Everyone was, coming up to me and, how you feeling? You must be on top of the world. And
Yeah.
it's like Christmas has come early, John. So hopefully we can keep up the momentum. But another wild round of NRL, and I'm over the moon, John.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, the reason why we're number one is because of that really that game that I thought that was never going to happen. I put off social media. It's going to take a miracle for this to happen. But miracles do happen, especially in the NRL when the Tigers beat the Chooks. I think it was 25-24, where they iced the field goal right at the end to get that. Yep, and they got it, and because of that, the Roosters didn't climb over us, didn't leapfrog us on the ladder, and we stayed there at number one. But I think we are number one, or we're tied with Penrith, and we are ahead of them on points differential by 1 point, which makes it very, 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 very interesting going into the next 2 rounds. That's why we're going to cover those games, especially over the Roosters, the Panthers, and ourselves over the next couple of games, and see where we go there. So anyway, mate. Let's get right into things because we've got a lot to talk about tonight, and starting with that game against Souths. Now, look, I will let you talk about this, but I just wanted to say I thought it was a great game, but at the same time, yeah, there were moments where I thought it was pretty patchy. But yeah, let's see what you got to say, mate.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, I mean, 45-26, 19-point win. You can't complain too much.
Yeah.
There's so many storylines sort of coming into the game and throughout the game, obviously playing with our, a lot of people talking about our 4th string halfback, which I think is a bit unfair calling him our 4th string halfback because he's been our number one, 5'8" the whole season. But, there's a bit of a difference playing 5'8" and halfback. But, fortunately, Chanel very much, took that load and just he went for it. And I thought he had an absolutely brilliant game. You had, Dallin kind of limping off with a collarbone, but not before he sort of scores a pretty miraculous try with one arm. Just a great moment. Obviously, there was the field goal. But yeah, it's just, you look at that game, and I think on the whole, I mean, most Warriors fans were happy with it. But yeah, there's that period of, it was about 10-15 minutes post half time where we went into half time up 26-8, feeling comfortable, feeling good about life. We scored an early try in the second half. That's where the DWZ's try, and then he went off, and then things kind of sort of fell apart a little bit. The Bunnies scored, I think it was three quick tries, all down that edge that obviously Dallin had come off from, so there was a reason for it, and
Yep.
we probably didn't keep as composed as we would like to have been, and they obviously Talis Duncan, Alex Johnson, and not Dylan Walker, Cody Walker all crashed over, and it was 32-26, and you're feeling a little bit nervous, but as the Warriors have done this season, they sort of obviously took a deep breath. I suspect my boy James Fisher-Harris probably said something in a huddle and just said, hey, we've got this game, we've been up the whole game, and we're not going to lose it from here. And then the Warriors came in, 2 late tries, and then hence that handsome field goal to put us up by that 19 points to get us to number one on the ladder. So, I mean, as I said before, a lot to like about it, but there was that squeaky bum time, and I'm guessing that you were feeling a little bit nervous at that point, were you, John?
Oh, I was more frustrated than nervous, to be honest. I think we had a handy lead in there, but during that period of time, there were some moments where I just thought that our right edge was not defending well, and I'm not going to point out specific players. I just think I'm just going to say the right edge was not doing well.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Oh no! Because the thing is, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. Pompey didn't have the greatest game, and that's just fair criticism. But I'm not going to go backlashing him and saying get out like a lot of fans do. A lot of fans went after him after that game. I just think it's a bit uncalled for, to be honest with you. Yeah, look, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that he had a bad game. He didn't have the greatest of games, but at the same time, it's uncalled for the backlash that he gets. I mean, we've actually advocated for Pompey a lot on the show, haven't we? Like over the past, especially, and he's been.
Yeah, so we love Pompey. Oh yeah, I would say on that, he's obviously normally a left side player. Was playing on the right, came in very late. It sounds like it was with the hour to go, because Ali wasn't, feeling 100 by the sound of things. So he came in, and also, you think Luke Hanson was there as well. He hasn't played a lot on that, of first grade. So it's a whole new combination he's playing with.
Yeah,
totally. And it just kind of didn't quite go to plan, did it?
No, well, that's what I meant by when I said like the whole right edge, because I mean there were moments where, if you looked at the replays, that they just got caught in two minds, and it included Hansen, where he was, because Hansen's a great defender. I love Hansen. He's a great defender. We've seen him play in all the games in New South Wales Cup and stuff. He's a good defender. So I thought he got caught in two minds. I think that the whole right edge just wasn't like you said, it wasn't going to plan. Everything just wasn't working. It wasn't going to plan. So and South took advantage of that. And I think obviously they'll rectify that because Ali's back in. I think he would have got over that sickness or whatever. I actually don't know what he was ill from, but obviously he couldn't take the field. He was on the bench, on the 6-man bench, and I saw him on the sideline there. He looked alright, but like I said, they didn't bring him on. They didn't bring him on at any point. So when Dallin came off, so I thought that would have been the moment where he comes on, and maybe that Pompey goes to the wing and he comes into centre. But he must have been that crook that he couldn't do it. So. Yeah, that right edge was a bit of a concern, but at the same time, we all know that that's not our right edge going into the further games. Like that was just more of a makeshift right edge, just because we know we were down on troops and stuff, and suspensions like with Chance, for example, suspended as well, and things like that. So so what we all know this. I mean, because also if you look at the team naming, Tamati Martin's back in, so. That right edge wasn't our a team right edge, if you get what I'm saying. So, but at the same time,
especially when your winger's gone as well, and then Pompey to the wing, and I can't even sort of recall exactly who filled the centre break. So it must have been.
I think it was Tuiava. I think it was Eddie Idemir Tuiava. I think he went into centre. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like just players just moving around in bits and pieces. So. I bet you come finals time, or the next time when they're just everyone's just back to fully fit, we'll see the team that's been doing the damage, come running out. Fingers crossed that no one gets injured again, because that's what's it's hurting us at the moment. Suspensions and injuries. I actually don't know how long Dallin is out for. I think he had surgery today. I think his surgery was today, or yesterday. I can't remember. Either yesterday or today he had surgery, so. We'll have to wait and see.
I saw somewhere that they were saying he could be back, for second week of finals or something. I'm like, for broken collarbone, you'd think he'd be out for longer, but obviously it heals quick enough or whatever. And he'd be getting the good service. I think they saw something that they were sort of, get surgery and they put basically like a bracket over it and just tie it down. So. I mean, it'd be great to have him back, but we'll see what happens while he's off. We're obviously already down some troops in the outside backs with two of us to check out for the season. But the way this team playing, I'm sure that we'll be able to sort of bounce back from that. I was just going to quickly point out, this sort of Tuapiki Chance thing.
Nice.
Every week we're talking about it, John, and. I don't know about you, I thought Tuapiki had an absolute brilliant game. There was so much to like about it, and he kicked 8 from 8 from the tee, which is
nice.
Huge for the Warriors, because we've had a lot of troubles with goal kickers basically the whole season. I feel like we've had a wee go with the Tanner Boyd was there. Luke Metcalf,
that's 16 points right there, right? That's 16 points right there.
And just turning those 4s into 6s is so important. And it's almost been a little concern of mine, like, if we do go deep in the finals. If we've got someone kicking who's not on form. And I mean, Tuapiki, he sort of had a few goes, and I feel like every time he's had a go, he's done all right. And then the next week, they'll try someone else. And I'm always thinking, why didn't they just stick with him for another week? So I'm excited about that. But, I suppose it just brings up that question, with Chance expected probably back next week.
Yeah.
Do you think Tuapiki did enough? This weekend could be different, but say if Chance was available this week, do you reckon that
Yeah.
they would have gone with Tuapiki or Chance?
It's such a hard question, bro, because I know that, like, again, throughout the whole season, we're saying that Tuapiki should be there, and he did. He got the spot, and he rightly earned that, and deserved his spot at fullback. But then he gets injured. Chance comes in, and last week we said it ourselves. We said, actually, Chance is playing so good. Actually, I'd keep him there. We both said that. We both agreed to that. But then Chance gets suspended, and Tuapiki pulls out another blinder. Not just on the kicking, not just in the converting those tries, but he had a pretty good game. So it's like, well, what do you do? But we are short on the outside back. So maybe I think Webby might be thinking more along the lines of Chance. You're going to have to fill a gap on the wing or on the centre.
We saw what he did earlier in the year, particularly on the wing. I think those games that he played, it was that Cowboys game where he scored 4 tries. But he played both sides. He played on Dylan's side when Dylan was injured.
Yeah,
he did a brilliant job. So it could go either way. But I imagine they'll probably go Chance on the wing. He's probably a more natural wing from what we've seen. Although I'm saying that Tuapiki played a lot of wing. Started last season, wasn't it? And he was carving up. He was doing really well.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you're right. There was a point last season. It wasn't the start of the season, was it? I can't remember if it was the start of the
That's been last season.
Last season or the start of the season. I can't remember. It's been such a long season where Tuapiki was on the wing, and he was actually doing a good job. And then Dallin came back from injury. Remember, he came back from injury, and they slotted him back in. So it must have been last season, because I remember now, because we were talking about how, like, Tuapiki didn't deserve to lose a spot. That's right. So he can play on the wing, and he's showed that he can do it. So maybe that is an option for Webby, is put Tuapiki on the wing and Chance at fullback, just because he's probably maybe more suited on the wing rather than Chance. I mean, in my opinion, anyway. So I don't know.
Just see what happens this week as well. Like if Tuapiki has another game like he did last week. I think he had some brilliant moments. Was safe as houses under the high ball. I think he diffused about 6 or 7 kicks from the Rabbitohs halves. Obviously had that brilliant play where he ran over and got his foot out and caught the ball in the full. And we ended up scoring from the set from there. And I think timer maybe it was about 18-10. So it was still a pretty close game.
Yeah.
If we had stuffed that up, and the South had got a hot on attack, they'd proven that they were pretty good once they got inside our 20. So they could have scored a try there, and it could have changed the momentum of the game. But huge play there. So also just wanted to really just bring up that Dimitrik's offload. Dimitrik's offload to Eddie. Eddie sprints up. Eddie gets probably the offload of the season away.
You mean the short pass, right? Not
short
offload.
Pass, yeah. Sorry, the linebacker assist. It wasn't really offload. Was it? But just that. It's beautiful to watch that stuff. Like
the no look.
Old. Did you think you'd transport it back to 2002, John?
Oh, mate, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Like I think people were saying, like, I think Sean Johnson was asking him, are you a natural halfback, are you? Because the sort of thing that a half does. The no look pass where they just do a short pass where the opposition thinks that he's just the guy is just a runner, a decoy runner, and boom. And then the fact that the offload came when Eddie got tackled, and then he came out and passed it on to Chanel, and then scored the try. It was brilliant. It was an awesome game, bro. Just going on there, I know that we're just talking about that try, but like. Did Eddie make his debut this year, or was it last year? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he did play last year, yeah. Probably played not many, 2 or 3 games, I reckon. Yeah, 2 or 3 games, I'd say. Like he's really made the most of it this season. He's played so well. Another huge game from him on the weekend day. Like he was huge. But yeah, I'm pretty sure from memory he would have played about 2 or 3 games last year.
Okay, I honestly can't remember, and the only reason why I'm saying is that would he be up for Rookie of the Year if he actually played this year? I guess we have to look it up.
I'd say so, because there's rules around it. I think you have to have played like X amount of games, like only X amount of games, but I feel like he might not have hit that. But
okay,
saying that if he probably hasn't played enough games, like he's sort of in this season, and he's made an absolute huge impact. And
yeah,
I mean, like is he going to be one that drops out when Jackson Ford comes out? I'm just.
Oh,
I don't
it's a
know
hard one, bro.
who of those three that drop out. I almost think it's Dimitri, which is pretty wild because he would have been on top of the pecking order at the start of the season. And it's probably no knock on him. He hasn't been playing badly, but the way Tanner Smith comes on and just the sort of energy he brings, and then Eddie's he's probably got that bit more utility of the fact that he can cover second row as well. I'm just someone's going to miss out, Obviously, Sam Healy's always going to be there. I mean, they'll all be on the extended bench, I imagine. But it's like who's going to be in that top rotation, eh?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list now. Just quickly picked it up. I just opened it up on my phone. In terms of the recovery report from the Warriors, and it says Jackson Ford. It just says finals. It doesn't give us a specific, week 1 or week 2. It just says finals. Rockaberry says here finals. He's got a hamstring injury. Story of his life. Rockaberry.
Is he injured again?
Yeah. That's why he hasn't been playing New South Wales Cup but just like I say, Rockaberry hamstring is like it's like another Luke Metcalf sort of situation. Isn't it? Just story of their life, right? Luke Metcalf hamstring final. It says it's weird because it says here. I don't know if this is a typo, but Rockaberry, Jackson Ford, and Dallin all say finals. And Luke Metcalf, it says here, final. I don't know if it's just it says final. So I don't know if it's a typo or that means he'll only be available grand final time. Yes, I don't know what that means. But Jackson Ford finals. That's going to be an interesting one because like you said, because he's been out for so long, do you just put him straight back in? I mean, we all know the damage that he did. The damage that he's done from this, from the get go of 2026. Do you just throw him back in there straight away? I
imagine so, but at the moment, these
who misses out?
Are playing, they're just playing with such, you wouldn't know that. What Demetrickson is second season.
Yeah.
They're all in their second season, but even last year, like Tanner Smith and Eddie in particular, they probably, as I said before, only probably played a handful of games between them. Or maybe Tanner Smith played a few more, but they just look like seasoned first graders now, man. They're just playing, and they're all still probably 19, 20, 21 years old. So much youth on their side. So. It's an exciting prospect, but I mean, with Jackson Ford, I mean, he was basically leading the Dally M's when he got injured, and I think just knowing you can get the minutes you can get out of him as well, and the engine that he's got, he gives so much. So I imagine he comes straight back in, but I don't envy the selectors and having to make that call. And I suppose they'll all be on the extended bench, so it'll probably be. On the day, we'll figure out exactly what the logic is there.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's just so many options for Webster when they're fully fit.
Yeah,
it's just who do you go with? Because the thing is that when players have gone down, and then the next man up mentality comes into play, everyone has stood up. Everyone has stood up. You know what I mean? The young boys have stood up. Eddie, they've all stood up. So it's hard to replace them just they're thinking, oh yeah, sweet, that guy will come back in, when it's not that simple anymore because everyone is playing to their roles, and they're doing it really well.
Yeah,
like you said, like you pointed out the try that Eddie and Dimitri were involved in, that Chanel Harris Tavita try. Look how it came about. That's the sort of stuff you need on the field, and that's the sort of stuff that scares oppositions because if your front rowers and middle forwards can do that kind of stuff, man, how scary are the Warriors to the other teams?
Yeah.
If you're,
I was going to say, it's funny that we talk about these three, but then you forget we've also got, Laban and Licker who are starting. They're in the starting lineup. And just, these guys are, very much mixed in with the other three. These five guys they're coming through together. They're all signed on big I think they're all signed on big contracts, aren't they? At least till
I don't know them. I don't know the dollar value, but they've been they're signed.
Sorry, lengthwise. I mean,
you mean long term contracts.
Long contracts, I should say. Yeah. So, I'm sure that they'll be locking them up for even further now that Webster's obviously signed on for another another 6 years from here. So they obviously like playing under Webster and have seen the development in their game. So hopefully we can hold on. Because we've seen so many of these young guys sort of leave the club in the last sort of 5-6 years and go on to other clubs and do some special things. So it's cool that we're looking after the youth while also, kind of like you just got a really good balance in the team at the moment.
Yeah. No, you're right, Brent. I think I'm pretty sure they'll be on a bit of coin as well because we all know that if they were to go test the market, they would attract a lot of money from other clubs. Yeah, especially when you look at the likes of Jacob Laban, for example, and Lecker, who are showing what they can do in the air. You put a bomb up right near the try line. There's a big high chance that you're going to score from it because they seem to leap over the opposition. Look at Lecker. I think he stole the ball in the air from when they were both competing for the ball. Yeah, so if you've got young guys that can do that, plus those barnstorming runs and the athleticism that they all show, man, they're going to attract. I don't know any club that wouldn't want them.
Well, even Dimitrik showed off his game. His high ball game. I think he caught. Was it what try was it?
Yep.
Oh yeah. So Chanel put the kick up, and then maybe Hansen actually. It was Hansen put the kick up. He leaped over. Maybe it was Talis Duncan or someone like that. Caught the ball, got an offload away, and then they spread the ball off to the right one, and that's when Dallin scored his try. So, and then that Lecker one, I think Harris Tavita kicked it from about 35 metres out. So he also not just got up for it. He sprinted 30 metres, had that momentum, and stole the ball from Campbell Graham, who's probably feel like a foot taller than him.
Yeah,
he's a lanky old one on Campbell Graham, and Lecker just got up there, stole the ball in mid-air, and I was sort of he must have lost that. And then you look at the replay, oh no, that's just brilliant play.
And Campbell Graham's good in the air as well. He's no. He knows what he's doing in the air. So, for Lecker to do that was just amazing. So, I think we've talked enough about the Souths game and what our boys have done. I think we should go into the scenarios, which is quite crucial with 2 rounds to go. And I think we'll just focus on the Warriors, the Roosters, and the Panthers because I think those are the ones that really are going to affect our ability to win the minor premiership. We've won a minor premiership before, the Warriors. They've won it once before. Could it be another one? Richard, what do you reckon? Could they do it?
Oh, 100%, man. You look at the games we've got ahead of us. We've got the Knights and the Seagulls both at home.
Yeah.
We've got a good record at home this year. I think 5-2 win-loss. You look at the Knights. We pulled their pants down. Over in Newcastle earlier in the season. The Seagulls had a win last week, but on the whole, they've been pretty horrendous towards the back half of this season. So I think we've got a couple of wins coming up. I'm particularly excited about the Seagulls game. As I've mentioned before, I'm going to be in the stands there, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
Looking at the Roosters, they've got the Dolphins and the Rabbitohs. So the Dolphins in Sydney, and then the Rabbitohs also in Sydney, but at Accor Stadium, which is the Rabbitohs' home stadium. The game of the weekend was the first time the Rabbitohs have lost there this season, and that's a big rivalry game. So I think that's very much not 2 easy wins. They could very easily lose both those games. Dolphins will be wanting to sort of secure that top 4 spot. And then the Rabbitohs are they're still sort of in that sort of they'll want to try push for a top 6. I think. So
Roosters are playing. Did you say the Roosters are playing Dolphins and the Rabbitohs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's first and who's second? Are they playing Rabbitohs first?
Dolphins this weekend, and then Rabbitohs. Okay. And there's obviously just that rivalry there. I don't know if you remember that. There's been a few classic games. There was that one game where there was about 6 cards a few years ago. So there's lots of sort of history between those teams. So I suspect the Roosters will probably lose one of those games at least. And even if they don't, as long as we win our 2 games, we're ahead of them. And then the Panthers have got a bit of an easier run home. Bulldogs at home, and then the Tigers at home. So both playing both games at home. Yeah. But Panthers Bulldogs is never that's a bit of a rivalry there. I feel like the Bulldogs have actually had a pretty good recent record against them. And then the Tigers, who knows what happens there. So I'd say the Panthers are definitely the biggest concern for us, judging by the points differential situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, if the Bulldogs can either win or keep it tight this weekend, I think the Panthers Tigers is the last game of the round. So, and that could go either way. I mean, we saw the Tigers beat the Roosters on the weekend, but they could equally probably lose that by they lost 66-0 in the year. So
Yeah.
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 So we can. It's going to be us or Panthers, I imagine.
Yeah.
I do think we'll win both these games, so it's just it's all going to be on their points differential. So the more points we can score in the next couple of weeks, the better.
Yeah, because I've been seeing a lot of people comment on social media saying all the Warriors need to do is win the 2 games and we've got the minor premiership. That's not the case at all. Yes, we need to win both games, but we need to win them well. And we've been doing, we've been putting 40 points on pretty much every team for the last how many rounds, which is a good thing. So we've got it in us to score many points. We've just got to keep our defense up to the high standards that we've been putting out all season. Last week was a bit different. They still got a good margin in the end, but I don't think the Webster would have been happy that the South put on 20 odd points on us. So I don't think he would be too happy about that. But okay, let's go for the Warriors games. Yes, not a win for the night. A win over the Knights and Seagulls for me. You as well.
Yeah.
Which would take the Warriors up to 42 points. Roosters versus Dolphins. That's going to be a big one because now when I think about it, if the Dolphins win, they go to 38 points on equal points with the Roosters, and the differential between them both is what is it, 40? Is it 22? It's only a 24-point difference. So that could become interesting as well for them. Yeah, so there's that. So I'm going to put my money on the Dolphins for that game.
Nice.
Yeah, what about yourself?
Oh look, I'm going to say that they'll lose one. I'm not going to. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think they might win that one. I think they'll lose to South.
Okay.
I'll make the call.
Fair enough. All right. But at the same time, so they're not really in the contest for the minor premiership. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
No,
Panthers.
no.
Bulldogs are 9th on the table. They need this win. They need this win to to get into the top 8. They desperately need this win. I think their half their team went down with COVID. Did you read about that?
What, the Bulldogs?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
That.
I was looking at like some team list, like predicted team list, and it said half their team went down with COVID.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if they've recovered or not, but that's what I read. So anyway, I still think Panthers will beat them.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, Bulldogs beat them earlier in the season, 32-16, so it's a big win for them, really. And then they also won 28-4 last year, and then earlier in last year it was 8-6 to Penrith, so and then 16-10 before that. So they've had some really, really close games, and Bulldogs have won two of the last 3. So I'll give it to the Bulldogs.
Oh, interesting.
Even through COVID.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Interesting. I've got Panthers to win both games. So for me, look, I've got Warriors to win both games, and I've got Panthers to win both games, which means they will finish both on 42 points equal. So it all comes down to points differential. So we need the Bulldogs and the Tigers to do us a solid, just like the Tigers did against the Roosters, by keeping them. But even if they lose, keeping that sort of margin tight. So they need to do us a solid by beating them, and if they don't, they need to do us a solid by keeping that margin tight. Whereas we have to score high. Yeah.
So that Panthers game, I think it's a 6 o'clock game on that Sunday night, final game of the season. So it's gonna be could be the first stuff dreams are made of, watching that, and watching if we have depending on if we've won both our games and how many more points, and who knows? As I said, the Bulldogs. I think don't discount the Bulldogs. They absolutely dismantled the Dragons last week.
That's not saying much though. Come on.
I don't know. Dragons have been pretty good.
They've been decent. They've been decent, but
the week before they've been the Tigers. Tigers beat the Roosters. So,
did you watch the Tigers Roosters game? Did you watch the Tigers Roosters game?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
It was the Roosters looked useless.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I'm not trying to take away anything from the Tigers win. Good on them for winning because they've had a bad run. But I'm just saying that at the same time, the Roosters, they just look really poor. They look like they didn't look in it. They looked like they didn't want to be in it. And I mean, there was a comment that was made on our channel saying like, it's This is like a fixed boxing match, sort of type thing. And I was actually thinking that's just a good way to put it, because it looked like a fixed match, because it looked like the players weren't in it at all. Like the Roosters players, they didn't look like they were in it. And did they not know what was on the line? A possible.
Keep it interesting, keep it exciting.
Yeah, no, but that was interesting. They were really poor. They were useless. They were useless.
They were talking to Benji. I think it was after the game, and they're like, the Roosters. The Warriors are on top of the table now. He's like, oh, are they? Oh, my job's done. Love that.
Good on you, Benji. Good on you, Benji. We love you. We love you. No, so that's what I'm thinking, bro. There's only 2 teams in it for me, Warriors and Panthers, and after that performance by the Roosters, and I think they'll, like you said, I think they'll lose at least one of those games against the Dolphins and Rabbitohs. So I think that it comes down to the Warriors and Panthers if they can win both their games. Then it comes down to who's got the better attack on the day, and better defense, I guess, because they have to they have to hold them out. So let's obviously support the Warriors against the Knights this weekend. Let's support the Bulldogs against the Panthers. I'm pretty sure every Warriors fan will be watching that game on Sunday at 6 p.m. like you said.
Oh no, that's not the Sunday game. The
isn't it?
Game is.
Oh, sorry, it's my bad.
Yeah.
Tigers game. Yeah.
So the Tigers game is the last game of the round. So we'll be hanging out for that.
Gotcha.
One, so.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on from that, because I think that's a pretty easy scenario to figure out. All right, so we go into our Wally M's, mate. Do you want to kick us off for the Wally M's for the game against Souths?
Yeah, for sure. So the Wally M's, for those who don't know, are our equivalent of the Delhi M's, where we give our 3-2-1 points for the week. Just been to our Warriors players. I'll start us off with Shino Harris-Tavita, got my 3. We haven't really talked about him so far, but I thought he had a brilliant game. Just grown in confidence the last few weeks. Obviously, 4th string halfback, as the Aussie media keeps sort of reminding us, but played with plenty of confidence. Great kicking game. That bomb for Lekker's try, as I said before, kicked that from 35 metres out and had it on a dime, about 2 metres out from the try line. For Lecker, he had a brilliant assist for Jacob Laban's try, where he chased his own kick, regathered it, and then sort of stuck away and got Laban some space. Good support play for the try that he scored off that Idiomia Toyava offload. And that's what you want from a halfback, someone who's playing in support. We did really well there. Had 18 tackles, so solid as always. 85 metres from 8 runs, so doing a little bit of everything. But I think he really controlled that game well and had our attack flowing. So he got my 3.
Yeah.
My 2 went to Tane Tuapiki. Mentioned him earlier, but I thought he's just had one of his better games of the season that we've seen from him. 8 from 8 from the tee. He forced that kick out, forced that out on the full. Really, really smart move there from a fullback. You could have gone wrong, but he nailed it. Had 16 runs for 155 metres. Line break, 5 tackle breaks, and I thought defensively under the high ball, he was brilliant. I think it was about 6 or 7, but high kicks that came his way, and he caught them all, no errors. So love to see that. And 1 point went to another guy we haven't really talked about, but I thought he was absolutely mammoth. Was Mitch Barnett, 183 metres, so led the run metres, 20 runs, 33 tackles, scored a sort of brilliant try, for. Who did was that a Wade Egan chip? Was it? Okay. Who chipped it for his try? Can you remember? There was no one around. It was no one within about 10 metres of him. It looked like it was a real smart play.
It was good. It was good,
and it was a good finish as well. It was right on the try line, but he got into the right position and got over. So I thought he was huge, and he brought. And I know I've sort of had my moments where I've thought, we could probably get rid of him. Already we've got some depth, but we're definitely going to miss him. I think we've seen the best of him the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, which is good. Coming to the finals, he looks like he's got a point to prove. So that's my 3-2-1 for this week. How about you, bro?
Yeah, well, you always take away my players as well. So because I've got all these stats ready to go, and you read them out, and you read them out, and I'm like, what am I going to say now? I don't want to just repeat what you just said. But all right, no, my 3 points went to Tupiki. like you said, 16 runs, 155 meters. It was right under the high ball, everything. You know, 7 conversions and 1 penalty goal to have 16 points on his tally there. I thought he had a great game. One thing I would say, and I've mentioned this before, as a flaw of Tuapiki sometimes. I think on an attacking mode, sometimes he tries to do everything himself instead of like passing the ball. You've noticed it as well, right? Where there will be moments where he could have passed or done something where he tries to do it himself. That's one thing I think for me that sometimes frustrates me, but it doesn't happen very often. So that's a good thing. But he's a great player. He's a very confident player, and he's just he's well deserves a spot in the side. So that's why it's going to be a hard pick for Webby about where he places him and Chance, because they've both been playing well. They've both been in stellar form. So good headache to have. So my 2 points went to Mitch Barnett. Same thing again. Ran for 183 meters. I just thought, like, it's not like he was doing anything flashy. He was just in it all. He was just great. He was just great in the field. And obviously, he's one of the co-captains there. His leadership shines through as well. And like you said, that try, brilliant try. I think he said himself. I think he said in the post-game interview that he thought he was out. He thought he was out, but yeah, he got it down. Good for him, and it'd be good to see him off with the Premiership. You know, this season is it's not that far. It's not that long. It's not long to go until he's done with the Warriors. So it'll be good to see that. And my 1 point went to Ieremia Toiava. Ran for 154 meters, 33 post-contact meters, 1 try assist, I think, and we've already spoken about it. We've already spoken about this, but his line break was an amazing line break, right? And the offload, amazing. I think he's coming into his prime, and it's just so awesome to know that these guys are so young. They've still got so many years of footy ahead of them, and they're playing at an elite level at this age already. I mean, and the fact that like you said earlier, they want to stay at the Warriors, which is even better, because not only are they getting the experience of playing week in, week out of first grade, they're getting better at it, and they're going to be at the Warriors for a long time. And I think even I can't remember who said it was. I think it was Sean Johnson. I can't remember. Someone said that they see Demi as a future captain one day. So yeah, this is awesome. I know I'm talking about Eddie here, but I'm just saying just the caliber of depth we have in the youth in athleticism is just amazing, and you can't stop raving on about it. You know what I mean? You just can't keep not raving on about it. So those are my 3-2-1s, bro. Another good week for the Wally M's. Do you have actually a points table there? Is Jackson Ford still leading it after all those rounds?
What did we get? What happened here? What did Tane get? 5. Oh, so Tane's on 35 now. Jackson Ford's on 36.
Oh.
So
how's he remained at top still, even though he's been out for a while?
Oh, I mean, he got. I think he got. I'll bring it up actually. What he got in the first few weeks. So in the first week he got 6. Second week he got 6. Third week he got 5. And then he had a couple of weeks off. Then he got a 1, a 4, a 5, a 4, a 2. He was just scoring every week.
Yeah, fair enough too.
When he got injured, not quite, but yeah, like he, as I said, I mean, he had 17 points in the first 3 rounds, so that helps.
It does, but yeah, well deserved as well. But and hopefully we see him come back for the finals, because I mean it'll be good to see him play in the finals, especially from what he did in laying a foundation for this team, in the earlier rounds.
He'll have unfinished business because he might not be led in the Whaley M's anymore, so he might have to make an early return, and chase Tane Tuapiki down. I think James Fisher-Harris is up next. He's on 27 points. So, if Fish had a couple of good games, he could also, make a push. Fish went on a bit of a run a few weeks ago, but I think Barnett's kind of been picking up a few points the last few weeks. So it's all on the line next few weeks, John.
It is. It's going to be an exciting couple of weeks, bro. I can tell you that. Well, let's quickly go into some news, because there's been some big news of late in terms of signings, and this isn't a player, this is actually the coach, which I can quote you saying this is probably the biggest signing of the Warriors in 2026. Not a player, but the coach. He's Andrew Webster has signed on. He's extended his contract to 2032. Richard, why is this the best signing of 2026?
Oh, bro, so many I'd almost say of all time. Like I mean, what he's brought to the club. I mean, I did a little clip for the followers. As I said in there, 3 years made the finals. So 4 years made the finals. Three of those years, 54% win rate. So I think he's got the highest win rate, or second highest, maybe behind Cleary still, but he's up there. Dally M Coach of the Year 2023. I wouldn't be surprised to see him there again this year.
Yeah.
There's just so much to like about it. You look at what he's done to some of these, these Titans rejects, I like to call them. The big three of Aaron Clark, Tana Boyd, and Lofi Pereira. There's three guys that have come over. They hardly get a start at the Titans, and they're absolute superstars here. Aaron Clark was Lock of the Year last year in the Dally M's. Tana Boyd would have been high up there in the Dally M's before he did his ACL. But his form this year was just incredible. Cam Pereira, as I said, obviously so much talent, but I think there was a few off-season issues, off-field issues there. He seems to have just got that into play, playing some awesome footy with and there's been a lot of talk about his sort of when he came over, like his defensive issues, and I think we saw on the weekend there's still a few there, but I think on the whole he's been really sound defensively, which has been awesome. And then you look at sort of Jackson Ford and what he did to him. He was hardly getting a start at the Dragons, and then, as I said before, when he got injured, he was pretty much leading the Dally M's. He was playing 80 minutes, just an absolute workhorse. Similar, Mitch Barnett, came to the Warriors as sort of like he was a name that we knew, but he's turned into a Origin representative, international for the Kangaroos, and a leader. A real good leader, and he'll be on a massive contract going to the Broncos. His leadership with both him and James Fisher-Harris, as I sort of mentioned in the video, I think what he brings to them. He's obviously just such a. He seems like he's such a sort of approachable guy, and that's why I think we've seen some of the blooding of these young fellas. We've already mentioned them before, but Demi Lecker, Laban, Tennistar Smith, Eddie, these young guys who have all signed on until 28, 29. It's a sign that they are happy there. That he's obviously able to connect with a lot of these young Māori and Polynesian guys as well, which I think we've probably had issues with some of the Australian coaches we've had in the past. And we've let go of some pretty good talent, like sort of Isaiah Papali'i, Ali Katoa. These guys have gone on to do big things at other clubs, but we're holding on to them, and they're doing it at the Warriors. You look at the stats this year, the Warriors lead the points scored, the tries, the goals kicked, the possession, set completion is at 83%, John, which is something that's just wild for a Warriors team, So not only is he sort of us out defensively, I think that's what people talk about, but, we've scored the most points this year, so he's got the attack absolutely flying as well. So it's probably enough reasons there. But as you can probably tell, I'm very excited about this, to see him for another, it'll be 10 years in total, and if we don't win a premiership this year, you imagine that we will in the next couple of years, because he believes that he can, and he's on to something good. So we love you, Webby.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I mean, he does have that knack for moulding a player into something amazing, right? Like you said, there's just players that have left clubs, comes over to the Warriors, and he's just got this ability to just mould them into an amazing player. And not just in terms of ability, like in terms of ability of their skills, etc. He doesn't just bring the best out of players in terms of their skills. He brings the best out of players in terms of their attitude as well. I think Mitch Barnett is one case we can look at, for example. Before he came to the Warriors, like you said, he was a name that everyone knew, but he was a bit of a hothead. You know what I mean? He was always getting into scraps and stuff. He was a bit of a grub, maybe so to say. I don't know if you go that far, but he was a bit of a hothead. And I think he said that, yeah. But then have you noticed how when he's come to the Warriors, not only has he upped his game, which has got him, like you said, he's upped his game, which has got him to New South Wales Cup. Sorry, New South Wales Cup. Gone to New South Wales Origin side, and the Kangaroos. So he's played at international level. He's played at the pinnacle of Origin. But have you seen how calm he is? Which is why he's been given the captain's armband as well. Because he's just, not only has he moulded Barnett and brought the best out of Barnett, he's brought the best out of his attitude as well, and his demeanour on the field is just way different to what he was when he was at Newcastle. So I think that's what Matt Webster does. He doesn't just bring the best out of you in terms of your skills. He brings the best out of you in terms of your personality, your attitude. And I think that's why the boys want to play under him. That's why they're all willing to stay. You know, you got Harris DeVita, for example, signs a 1-year extension, and then signs another extension on top of that, not that long after. And I just think that because I think the culture that he has created within the Warriors has just made them go, you know what? I want to stay here. I want a piece of this. Something good is happening here. Something good is happening here. And I know that it's not just Webby. And knowing Webby in terms of, you know, he's quite a humble guy. He won't just say, oh, it's about me. It's not me. He'll say it's the players. It's all their hard work. He'll say it's the coaching staff. And it is, yes, the coaching staff as well, not just Webby. But a lot of it comes down to his blueprint that he's put on for the Warriors team. So I think, you know, this is a good tribute for Andrew Webster because he's done a great job and he deserves to have that extension. And I love the fact that the players want to stay there for him and play under him. And I think he's just the right person for the Warriors because, like I said, he can get the best out of you in all aspects of the game.
Yeah, and I like that he doesn't blame. He kind of just keeps it composed. You know, there's a lot of coaches out there that will, you know, they play a blame game if something doesn't go wrong, they have a bit of a cry. He generally keeps it pretty straight faced. He doesn't, you know, looks within before sort of blaming at the refs or blaming the bunker. He's been a few times to see him go off, but you know, I think on the whole, he just seems like a really, you know, well composed and. Yeah, as I said before, it sounds like he's just really approachable, really nice, just a nice guy, but also and that's proven in the results, you know, and the year that we didn't make the finals, you know, we had a horrible run with injuries that year, it just wasn't to be. But apart from that, you know, he came into a club that had made the finals once in the last, I think it was 12 years at the time, you know, and he's made it three of the last 4 years. So, and you think about those years of those coaches that we've had, John. You know, your Nathan Browns, your Stephen Kearneys. The list goes on. You know, your Matthew Elliott, Kepi McFadden, Bluey. It's just, you know, we had such a horrendous run of coaches, and all of a sudden we've just got this knight in shining armour. So, keep it up.
Yeah,
you're doing a good job, brother.
It's interesting, bro, because those coaches you mentioned just now, there's not like they were bad coaches. I just don't think that sometimes. I think coming to the Warriors, you have to be just more than just a good coach in terms of skills. You've got to create an atmosphere where these players, because some of these players, you know, they're not Aussie players. They're not Aussie boys. It's a very different setting, you know, environment, etc. So you have to be able to sort of adjust and also create something that they, you know, that makes them comfortable to play and want to stay. So yeah, I think Webster's done an amazing job, bro, and we can't stop talking about him. We've been graveling on for another 10 minutes, but you know, well worth it because he's done an amazing job. So we'll leave that for now. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and we'll quickly just talk about this, the NRL possibly making the Warriors have a home game at Eden Park, meaning they're going to push their authority and say, no, you're going to have one of the finals games at Eden Park because of the fact that it will generate more revenue for them because Eden Park obviously has more seating. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Look, I'll start it off by saying, I mean, I clearly understand, you know, money talks in the game and you know, it's a no-brainer that you're going to get an extra 20,000 people. I think that they'd have no issue selling it out, I reckon, at the moment, just with the popularity. But man, it would be such a shame for the club, you know. Mount Smart is their home. You know, they've sold out every game for the last 3 years or something ridiculous like that, you know. There's something about going to Mount Smart. I think any team that comes over would be much happier going to Eden Park than Mount Smart. You know, there's just something about going to the fortress there, and we've got a pretty good record there this year. So, I mean, I understand, but if it happens, and I know they sort of talked about it. Must have been a couple of years ago, even last year or definitely the year that you know, we had that Knights game at home, and I remember Sean Johnson sort of kicked up a bit of a fuss about it, saying, you know, this can't happen. You know, we Mount Smart's our home, so I mean, I think they've threatened to do it to the Sharks as well, but yeah, I understand, but it'd be real shame if that happens.
I think it's a bit greedy to be honest from the NRL. Like, let them play where they want to play. This is not about you. I mean, I know it's a business as well, but that's going a bit too far for me. You know, the NRL sort of like, you know, saying, hey guys, we control the finals here. We're gonna tell you where to go. It's a big disadvantage. For me, I'm not concerned in the sense of where they play because the Warriors can go anywhere and win. For me, it's about the logistical stuff. For example, when you go to Mount Smart, the fans are quite closer to the field in terms of where the stands are positioned. So you get closer and you get, you're closer to the game. You can see it better and stuff. You go to Eden Park, bro. It's a bit of a different story because it's like it's a small cricket field. It's not just a rugby field. It's a small, awkward cricket field shape as well. And so you're sort of away from the play. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So kind of like at Westpac. At the time it was called Sky Stadium when they played this year down in Wellington. You know, you can still see it, but you're still quite far away because of the fact that it's also a cricket field.
Mm.
So you know when you got the sideline, it goes all the way back to the stands. There's still a massive gap. Whereas in Mount Smart, you're right there next to it. You know, you're quite close to it. So yeah, I think it's I think rectangular football fields are the best when it comes to atmosphere for footy. So I really hope that they don't do that. They force the Warriors to go play at Eden Park because I'm pretty sure everyone would love, including the players. They would rather stay at Go Media Stadium at their fortress.
Yeah, the fortress. Yeah, I mean, I think you've hit it nail on the head there. I think with the atmosphere is a massive thing. You know, they'll just lose so much of that, and that's the Warriors are on and the atmosphere is going.
Yeah.
I think any NRL team would much prefer to be playing at Eden Park than Mount Smart in that situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. No, all right. Well, let's move on to we've spoken for quite a bit on other stuff. We haven't gone into the team naming or the Knights preview. Do you want to go through the team naming for us, mate?
Yep, I can indeed. Sorry.
Excuse me.
Here it is. So at fullback, we've got Tane Tuapiki. On the wings, we've got Lofi Camperera and Luke Lalili, so obviously making his club debut. Came over from the Tigers earlier in this season, so he's been playing some good footy in the New South Wales Cup, so looking forward to seeing what he can do. Ali Lautoa returns in the centres with Lika Halasima, Chanel Harris-Tavita and Tamari Martin in the half, so Chanel back to 6. Tamari Martin returns from his injury, just in time for the finals.
Yep.
Forwards, we've got James Harris, Wade Egan, Much Barnett in the front row, Kirk Capwell and Laban in the second row, and Aaron Clark at lock, with the interchange being, once again, Sam Healy, Tennis Smith, Dimitri Valmoga and Edimir Toyava, Adam Pompey and Morgan Gannon round that interchange out, and the reserves are Makai Tafua, Luke Hanson and Jet Cleary. So gone for a very sort of playmaker heavy reserves there, but Luke Hanson probably deserves to be in the mix. Obviously Jet Cleary, he did come onto the bench interchange last week, but they didn't need him. From what we've seen in Makai Tafua, we've seen that he's well worth sort of hanging around. So be interesting to see what happens with Gannon and Pompey there, whether some of those guys come in the centre bench. There was a little bit of discussion around the wing and who would take it, with Joe Lanane's name coming out there and Hazen Mellors. Did you have a hot take on who you thought was going to be on that wing there, John?
Oh no, I thought it would have been the winger that's been named now or Hazen Mellors. I thought one of those two would have been named. Joe Lanane thing is real interesting because he's been playing at centre. He's not a centre, he's a half. Yeah. But he's been playing at centre and he's killing it. So what do you do? I would have thought maybe he would have got a shot. If he's playing so well at centre, why not give him a shot at centre in first grade? I know New South Wales Cup and NRL first grade is a totally different beast. I know that, but especially when we're down on outside back. So this is the same bench, isn't it, from they had last week? And I predicted. I was saying to you that I predicted. I said this, and I know you'll back me up on this one. Is that I said that I reckon Jet Cleary would move on to the 6-man bench, and Gannon or Pompey, one of them will drop out. More likely Gannon because they've got plenty of forwards, because just to cover the halves. And I think that's going to be the same case again. I reckon it'll be the same case again, where either Hanson or Cleary will go onto the 6-man bench, and one of either Pompey or Gannon will drop out, which is for me more likely to be Gannon because Pompey obviously has a bit of, he's an outside back and can cover that area. So that's what I reckon anyway. And if I was to choose between Hansen and Cleary, I'd still pick Cleary. Hansen, as you know, my boy, I love Luke Hansen. Always talked him up throughout this whole season. I didn't think he had a bad game. I didn't think didn't light the world on fire though. And he did ice that that field goal that got us the 1 point that put us into first place. Did the whole but I don't know why I made that noise. But yeah. So I would still put G Cleary in there as a preference, my preference. But whether he does the same thing is a different story.
Yeah, it's a good point about Hansen. We didn't really talk about him in the review of the game, did he? But it was a pretty quiet game. He didn't do much wrong, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of, he did, he put up that kick for, he led to Harris Saveda's try, and probably had a hand in, a few things here and there, but, didn't do anything wrong, and defensively was sound enough, so we'll take that. We'll see what happens there. I mean, don't sleep on the Knights though. Just looking through their team, they've got some quality players. They've obviously been pretty injury ravaged. Dom Young's out this week with suspension, and then Dylan Brown and Dylan Lucas both sort of injured at the moment. But Callum Ponga's still there, so anything can happen when he's around. Dane Gagai obviously got a few years on his back now, but he can still I've still got sort of nightmares of him playing some good footy for both the Knights and Queensland. Bradman Best, one of the young sort of quality centres in the competition. Greg Narziu, Fletcher Sharp, the Fletchers as I like to call them, Fletcher Sharp, Fletcher Hunt. Daniel Stofiti, Origin player, whether he should have been there or not. And Manu Lalia, who I think he was off with a HIA last week, but since Dylan Lucas has sort of left, he's stepped up massively. Awesome ball running second rower, and the number 19 for the Knights this week. My new favourite NRL player, Diesel Hagen. What a name, Diesel Hagen. Oh, can't wait to see him. Hope he gets on and has a row, but. Yeah, I mean, just looking through, I think when you get to their bench, I think this is where the Warriors sort of their ability to just, the next man up mentality sort of comes through. You look at the Knights bench, Thomas Kent, Cody Hopwood, Lachlan Crouch, Pasami Saulo, Toby Winter, and Diesel Hagen. So I don't know about you, but that's the first time I've seen any of those names, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, I think, depth-wise, we should be, too good here. At home, good record at home this year, 5-2. Overall, we lead the overall head-to-head, 52 played, 28-23 to the Wars. We've won 3 straight against the Knights, including 38-12 earlier in the season over there. And we're coming on. Won 4 straight, but we haven't just won them. We've won them convincingly against some good opposition. Knights coming off a pretty poor loss to the Seagulls on the weekend. I think it was about 44-24 in the end.
They got their pants pulled down, that's for sure.
Yeah, they were up 18-6 or something like that, and then just lost it. A rare Sunday game. Hasn't been too many of them this week. It's 4 p.m. Sunday, so great time to just sit back, put your feet up on the couch, and have some precious family time watching the Wars. So I'm going to say the Wars, I won't say they'll run away with it. I'm going to say maybe about a 32-20 score.
Wow, I'm definitely saying it's a 13-plus win. Like, the Knights have been pretty good this season, and like you said, if you look through that lineup, there are a lot of players there I just don't know who they are. But I haven't watched a lot of the Knights games this season, but I just know that they've been winning. But they had, like I said before, they just had their pants pulled down by the Seagulls. And that's not a good sign coming into the end of the season before finals. But I still expect the Warriors to dominate them. And that's my expectation now, is for them to dominate them. And I think the Warriors will clean up their defensive issues that was on the right edge from the last game. But like we said before, that was a makeshift right edge than what we normally have. So Yeah, I believe everything will be different in this game. I still think that the Warriors will, continue their masterclass defense that they've been putting on all season. Their consistent defense, where they've been they haven't really been allowing teams to score a lot of tries, which is why that's why our points differential is so large. And I believe we'll put a lot of points on them, and I believe it'll be 13 plus, and I believe that we will. They need that to sort of get away from Penrith, just to further their chances of getting away from Penrith. So yeah, no, 13 plus for me.
Nice, bro.
All right.
I rate that.
All right, should we wrap it up, mate?
Yeah, mate. I think we're done for the week. Getting late.
Yep. Getting late, yep.
Good time.
Well, it's a good time to be alive, everyone. Warriors number 1 on the table, and I believe we're going to stay there. Hopefully we stay there. Hopefully Penrith, they just collapse. And, keep the Warriors up there, just like the Tigers did for us on the weekend. But thanks everyone for tuning in and watching us. We're really thankful for the support, especially the last episode. We had a really, really good episode last week, and a lot of people tuned in, and subscribers, everything. That's what we need right now, more subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Press that button. Otherwise, Rich is going to come after you. All right. Have a good night, everyone, and up the waz.
Up the waz, baby. Choo choo. We've got the faith. It's simply the best.